Okay, and we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Let's put the lights on. It's kind of, come on, get the lights on. There we go. Hi, welcome. Let's kind of cut over to the main screen. Welcome everyone, it's Neil Hambly from Data+Train. Welcome back to another, actually number 17 in August. So we are really kind of counting these up. So as you probably know, we're going every day live on our YouTube channel, just to kind of launch for the channel itself, kind of get an introduction to everyone, kind of say hello, explain what we're going to be doing inside of our channel. So let's kind of get to that. We are providing content around kind of the data professional technologies, tooling, and kind of the different data professionals. So like the data analysts, the database professional, the data scientists. So the moment we're kind of starting and kicking this off with the data analyst specific one. So, and we're tackling the DA-100, which is the new role-based certification from Microsoft. So there's a 4-day course that aligns to this, but there's a whole raft of kind of skills and that are being measured in the DA-100 or the data analyst certification, so the associate certification. We're going to go look at what's in that and show you, and we're going to do a number of different videos throughout September or August and September into October and November, covering all of the content there. So let me go and bring up my PowerPoint slide, not PowerPoint slide. I was working on that earlier, so I meant to say my browser. So here you'll see that we have it outlined in terms of the content that we're covering across those 4 months. So let me just get my keyboard nicely aligned and put the cursor in the right window. So if you've been to one of these streams before, you'll kind of be familiar with this, where we're saying we cover the 5 functional groups: prepare the data, model the data, visualize the data, analyze the data, and deploy and maintain those deliverables. So getting those models up into the service, sharing them in the dashboards, and how do we work with those workspaces, all that kind of lovely stuff. So there's roughly about 20 to 25% in each of the categories. So each month we're roughly covering about 25% over the 4 months. There's going to be 13 different videos each month. I'm in the process of doing all of the ones for prepare the data. So I've started on them this week, doing some earlier today, some recordings. I've got some editing to do, of course, before we get those out there to make them nice and kind of compact and just on point. And we'll have those out there. And once we get kind of most of the catch up on that, we'll be able to kind of have you every Monday, Wednesday and Friday going forward in September, October, November, release a new video. And we're going to have 2 live streams a week going forward from September. So we're doing every day in August just to kind of get up and running. A lot of that was for me getting used to it's kind of be in front of the camera, talking to you guys, getting all the equipment set up. So you may also be aware that kind of this is, just going to cut this quickly over and just bring the, if I can always cut over and then lose the cursor. 1 sec, because it's zoomed out, the cursor disappears. I've realized this. Let me cut it over. So this was the studio, and I'm kind of watching from the back camera here. So we've set up this complete studio to put together a bunch of YouTube videos, trainings. I'm doing a lot of virtual training these days. So when I'm not kind of training students in kind of on deliverables each week, sometimes I have a spare week like this week. I was going to do a delivery, but we moved some of the students into another delivery. It allows me to catch up a little bit on the whole YouTube stuff. A lot of that's due to the heat wave. We were kind of a little bit warm in here. It's quite a small area, and 7 foot square roughly is where all my kit is kind of crammed into. There's 4 PCs in here, a bunch of lights, and with the heat wave, the weather got a bit warm inside this room. So I kind of started to try and record and realized that was not a good idea. I was dripping with sweat after about 2 minutes, so it wasn't going to happen. Not in a way that it needed to. So I kind of pushed it back a little bit. But we're covering lots of content. So we're going through, and kind of bring back the main screen here. I'm just going to then cut myself into the top window. So let me just do that. Put me on number 2 and put myself up into the top corner there. So we're going to be covering a little bit of content in each of the live streams, taking questions. If you have questions, we do have our chat window available. So I'm just going to also kind of bring that up and get that up nicely into the window there. Tucked out the way, and just going to make sure that works. Just quick send over to that. Oh, realize I've got the, when I did that, it brought up the other window. I don't want to do that one. Let me just grab that over. Too many windows. Okay, let me get rid of one of these here. Oh, wrong one. Get rid of this one here. Okay, where's it going? Okay, so for some reason it's kind of gone a bit mental on me. There we go. Let's get maximum screen on that. Disengage and then move it out the way. Okay, that's the technique now. Okay, so apologies for that. Was out exercising. I think my brain has kind of been exercised too much as well today. So we're going through and preparing a bunch of videos. It's going to go through all of the content. Let me show you the content that we're covering in the DA-100. Now, we will be doing a bunch of the other certifications. So there's some new fundamentals like the DP-900, which is the Azure Data Fundamentals. And we looked at that day before yesterday a little bit. We're going to have a full day of that. Actually, sorry, not a full day, a full week on that one. So it'll be 7 videos, go through the content, same as we're doing for this. Let me kind of bring up the main certification page. Go to the DA-100. And I'm going to do the video from yesterday. I managed to mess that up a little bit. I had my head full screen instead of in the little corner. So you weren't seeing the screen as well as me doing the demo. So I realized after when I recorded, looked back at the recording, I went, oops. Slight error there. Okay, but we can address that. We can go back and do that one. So in here, we're going down to look at the skills measured. And if we look at the section, you'll see there's those kind of 5 functional groups that we just looked at. And if we go to the download skills outline, which is the exam objective domain, we'll see that there's kind of individual values that are being measured. So what we'll do is about 100 different ones spread across the 5 functional groups. And we're essentially doing about 2 of those in each video, roughly. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2 or 3, depends on the specific item. But there's about 100 or so, roughly. And we're covering them over 52 videos. So as we go through, you'll be able to kind of go in and see which videos are aligned. We're also going to create this file. And I'm going to say which videos these specific items are shown in. And we'll give you that, and you can download that file. It'll be an Excel file. You can download that, and you can track your progress as well. So once you've done one of those videos, you can kind of tick it off. And you can also then see how that aligns to your overall skills being measured. Maybe you're going to do a role IQ with the Pluralsight, and you want to kind of see where your skills are strong and weak. And you want to align your time for study to those areas that need a little bit more attention than others. So we can kind of outline what those will be, and kind of you can then go and cherry pick maybe the videos that you need to look at rather than potentially looking at all 52. Although we would say go look at all 52. We're going to create them, but we realize that there's different students out there with different needs. So we're creating them, we're kind of doing them bite-sized pieces, and you can do a bit of a buffet. You can kind of pick the ones that you need here. So we're going to have those. I'm working pretty much all this week on kind of getting up to date with all the videos and hopefully trying to get ahead a little bit. So as we have the dates for the release, we'll have those videos in hand, and they will just be already uploaded, ready to kind of be dropped on the specific day in question. And these chat sessions that we're going to have this week, or this next month, this month, and then to following months, we're going to take questions. We're going to look at some other certifications as well. So we're going to look at some of the data scientist certifications, some of the AI ones. We're going to look at the data professional, so SQL Server, Azure SQL, the data engineering certification. So I teach all of these, and I do a few of the Azure ones, like the Azure security ones, etc. So if you have all that information, then we're going to be able to share that. Hi, Eric. Good to see you. Great for you can join us. Just going to kind of make sure we can see you on the screen there. Nice one. Excellent. And say anybody else has a question, just drop that into the chat window. And all the links and descriptions are in the bottom section here. And if you are new and you kind of haven't come across this before, then you can come and do a submission on subscription. So let me kind of just do that. I'm just going to click that over. So do subscribe, get that notification bell rung, and be alerted to new videos as they come out. And say we're doing live streams every day at 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time, so GMT +1. And in September and onwards, we're going to do twice a week. I haven't fully locked down which specific days. Probably it's either Monday, Tuesday, and either a Thursday, Friday. So kind of the start and the end of the week. And it may vary a little bit from week to week, depends on my schedule as well. So you kind of be notified when we're doing that. And again, it'd be like a 30-minute. So let's go and have a look at the session that we were going to do yesterday. And I'm going to go through it and record that again. We're going to get that kind of up, but with this time we're going to have the screen in front of you and my little head in the top right instead of the whole screen. So let's have another go doing that one. So I'm going to open up Power BI. So let me go and grab the Power BI open file. So this is a brand new open desktop file, nothing in it. And we're going to load a simple Excel file that's got some data. Now this Excel file is from one of the Microsoft Learn Prepare the Data modules. So I'll give you the link in the description below which specific file is. You'll have the link to that. But this is what we're going to see here. We're going to open up a brand new Power BI. Now you might notice something slightly different. Look at the menu bar. It's been flattened. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let me try that again with the button held this time. It's all been flattened. So we've got a flat kind of ribbon now. That's fairly new. So you kind of will see that that's kind of an ability to flatten that ribbon. And we go back to the original. So maybe it's kind of just me not seeing that before. But I like the kind of flatter one because it gives me a bit more real estate to work with. And also I kind of have less things to confuse and kind of get in my eyesight. So I want to go and get some data. Well, of course, we're going to go to the very first item there, get data. And we're going to go down. In this case, we want to do a Excel file. So we're going to take the very first one. There's some common ones there. Of course, there's a 60, 80 different connectors now out there. Let me go and pick the folder I want. So I want the data folder. And I want to go down to, there we are, dashboard of the day. Is it that one? Let's have a look. Where is it gone? So I'm going to see if we can find the file I want. I was doing a bit of cleanup. Let's kind of bring that down. Power BI, there it is. Financial sample. So, okay, I'll make a link to where this specific file is, but we're just using this as a example of trying to load some data in. So I'm going to load both of these in. Now, they are exactly the same file. One's called Sheet 1, which is a worksheet number 1, and one is a defined table range inside of Excel called financials. They're essentially the same data set. They've got 700 rows. They're identical time. I'm going to click on both of them. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to load them to start with because I want to come back and show you some more stuff. I want to show you, click on load. Now notice what will happen in the very right hand side. We will see them turn up here. They are currently creating the model. They're going to load that data into the model. And both of those are now going to show up in the right hand side of the screen now. So kind of this, hold that, and there we can see kind of financials, and we can see the exact same data set. So they're identical. Okay, they've both been imported. Let me just kind of zoom out. Gonna do a double zoom on this one. There we go. So let me go into the table, and you can see we've got financials, we've got the data. We're going to do a bit of transformation of the data. We're going to change some of the data types, make it a little bit more applicable to what the data is. So we're going to change the decimals to kind of a fixed decimal type, which is a currency type. Essentially, we want to create it to. So let's go into the home section. Let's go over here. And we're going to go to transform data. Click down, you can see we got the transform data there. Click on that. And that's going to now open up the Power Query Editor, the PQE. If you look at the top left of the screen, you'll see that it says Power Query Editor here. Okay, so we got that in there. We're ready to go there. Just gonna just check. It's a slight smell of kind of smoke, but I think it's just because there's something going on outside and it's coming through the window there. Just making sure we weren't setting fire to anything. Okay, so let me go into the financials. Now you can see here, if I look at the columns, I've got a bunch of information also showing. If I go look at the view, you'll notice that we have both the column quality, column distribution, and column profile already selected. So all of these are available for us, and we can have those ready to go. And I'm just making sure that's turned off. Cool. So I want to change some of the data. Now, the one I'm going to change is the sales price. Now, notice that it's in at the moment. If I click on the icon at the very top left there, we've got 1, 2, 3, which means it's a whole number. And that's fine. But essentially, I probably want to have that in something like a fixed decimal. It's a sales price. It's a price. It's going to be really in a currency. So what I can do is I can kind of check that, and I can choose to switch it over to this fixed decimal currency there. Okay. So let's just do that. Drop down. Now I'm doing them in the Power Query Editor before I load the data inside of the model. So what I have the ability to do is do replace current. I switch it in place to column type, or I can do add new step to do that transformation. So in this case, I'm going to do add new step. The reason being, I'm going to kind of showcase that it's going to add a new step over here where it's changed the type. And if you look at the, we're going to look at the advanced editor in a second, we'll see that that's changed that. So let me just choose the advanced editor. And if I zoom in a little bit, you'll see that what we have is we had some, got the wrong, there we go. So we got change type number 1 where it was changing it into text, and we kind of scroll over, we can kind of see that it was actually doing more transformations as well. And we want to change the 1 for sales. Now notice it's gone to number. Now we want to obviously change that to currency type. So what I've done is got an extra step, currency type here. Now if I change that, it's going to get rid of it a second and go back to here and change it in place. And this time I'm going to say replace current. Notice I only have 1 change type. But if I go into the advanced editor now and scroll over to that, sales price has now been done. Now this will be more efficient in terms of the amount of operational steps it's going to do. So I recommend you do that once, where you do kind of the change of the data types in 1 entry there. And we can also go and change the naming convention of what these are going to be. So we can rename that, and we'll go in, you know, data types, something like that. So I can name those steps and make them a little bit more explicit about what I'm doing, why I'm changing it, you know, what I'm doing here. And, you know, it could be that I'm, you know, because it just says like rename 1, rename 2, rename 3, etc. It's not that good in terms of kind of naming the steps. It's just going to make them as a list. And the steps are done in sequential order. So the very first step that we have is going to get the source. And if you look at this, notice that the source is equal to this Excel file workbook, and we're going to get the path of that and the sample file, etc. And then we reference the source, this piece here. I managed to write all over it, but essentially we are referencing it here. So we're referencing the previous step name. Same as we're doing here. This one's called financials table, and we're referencing it here. Again, I managed to write over it, but we're referencing the column name. Sorry, the step. So we have the ability to kind of reference the steps and kind of where we are in the sequential order. Now, what I could do is go back maybe 5 or 6 steps further down and reference this 3rd step. I can go back and reference D types or reference financials tables. I have the ability to do that. And I could kind of skip some and add them back in. And I could do a lot of different things with that. But essentially what we're trying to do here is change the data type. So we've got sales price. I'm going to do gross sales as well. Change that to fixed decimal. I'm going to change that as a replace current. I'm going to go to sales. I'm going to, now number of sales is the number of sales. Profit, I'm going to say, well, that's going to be in currency as well. So let's go and make the profit in currency. Now, at the moment, we're changing the data type, which is the fixed decimal. Later on, we're going to do the formatting of the currency. We'll show you that in a second. Okay, So that's kind of that one. Now there's a few more there, and I'm not going to go and do all of them. It's just from the time we have. But what I do is I want to append sheet 1 to financials. So think of it as like an extra set of sales, or sales from a different region. And I've got region A, region B, region C, and I'm kind of appending them. So let's kind of just save that change. Now, one of these has been changed. Dollar, dollar, dollar. Okay. Now I haven't done the changes in sheet 1. Okay. Sales price. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to append sheet 1 to financials, which I've made the change. So let me just going to say apply that. So I'm going to apply those changes, reprocess that model. So this financials one, sales price is going to be kind of let me go to a data set here. I'm just going to bring over financials and going to bring in sales price, and we'll do that by country. Okay, so we see here that we kind of got a let's get the cursor over, and if I hover over it, I've got a number. This is financials. So I've not done any formatting yet, so I'm going to go sales price. I'll go to my format, and you can see that we got the general currency. I'm going to change the currency, and now I've got, if I hover over that, it's in dollars. I mean, I can change that currency format to a different version. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up that full entry and go to UK, and then I've got that in. Let's kind of come off it, come back on, and now it's in UK pounds. Okay, but that is for the financials. Let me go and do exactly the same data set there. I'm going to go bring it in from sheets. So we want sales price and country. So we got sales price, drag it on somewhere there. We're going to bring country into the axis. Okay. So essentially we've got the same thing going on here. Okay. Let's kind of just move it over a little bit further there. I'm going to again go to sales price, and I can see again, I can change that to, and this is where it doesn't have currency. Okay, so if I did the data type before, it was currency. Okay, so let me go up to sales price and go to the drop down, and we can see that we have, sorry, under the format currency there, my mistake, currency there. This one, I think I was kind of taking you down a rabbit hole there for a second. We go and add it, because I want to add I want to bring the other section in, and I'm going to leave this as whole number. Now, when I add these in, the sales one, sorry, sheet 1 to the financials, it's going to assume the base table I'm drawing it to in terms of that. So let's go and do that. We'll go into the home. We're going to go to the transform data. We're going to go to the combine section here, and we're going to go to the append queries. Essentially, that is just saying I want to add 2 tables together. So let's do that. Let's go and choose financials, click the append queries, and it's going to say which table to append. I'm going to append the sheet 1 and click OK. Now what we have now is 1400 rows. Okay, but if I go and look at the so go back and come out of there, come into here, and this is the thing that kind of gets problem, is we change the data types. Okay, sales price, and then we did the append query. Now look at the sales price, it's dollar. Look at the append query, it's now gone to sales, because we got the data types that appears as a step before the append query. So what you want to do is you want to append the queries first and then do your data type. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move that append query above the data types. So all I've done here is I moved the position of the append query here to position number 3. Okay, and data types now is behind in D type 4. Okay, so now append query, you see that its sales is ABC, ABC, ABC. Notice that it's now string and whole number. So it's kind of got that that weird dual state now. Okay, reason being navigation. We had ABC. It was essentially a text, And then we're going to append queries, and we're going to have the 1400 rows, and then we go to change data types. And that's where it does all of the transforming the data type. So what I want to do is I want my data type transformation to be the very last step, because I don't want to keep doing it and then come back and do it again and come back and do it again. So I want to be efficient in the processing requests I'm asking the engine to do. Okay, so I'm going to do it once. So I'm going to have my D types as kind of probably the last thing. I'm going up until that point, I don't really care, because I know that I'm going to be changing the data types at some point. Now, if you're going to do any kind of filtering or anything else, you may need to do your changing of one or more data types beforehand to get your filtering in place. So if you're doing like a numeric filter, you need to have that data type as a numeric to be able to do your numeric filter. It's not going to work as well on a string. Okay, so just be aware of that. So we've got all of that. Let's go close and apply. Okay, so we've got some questions as well. I'm just gonna finish this one, and then I'm going to answer your questions there. So so bear with me one moment, and I'll come to those questions. I'm going to put it up on the screen in a second. So we come back here, and if I go to my sales price and go into, let's expand that out so we can see it, and go into this visual, and we can see that we have the sales price is highlighted, and here we got the currency format with the fixed data type. Oops, managed to kind of there we go. Let's try that again. Zoom in. Okay, so the fixed data type number, and we've got the currency there. Okay, and if we go into this one and do the drop down on that one as well, and go to the sales price on there, that's whole number. So the left hand one is in currency format. In terms of the structure, is a fixed decimal with a format of currency. The right hand one, this one over here, is whole number with format whole number. Now, it doesn't mean we can't change the formatting, and we can't change it here later on to be decimal, but we're doing it after we've loaded the data into the model. So we're kind of doing all our transformations in the Power Query Editor, then we're loading that into the model, and then we're coming back later on and doing another step. Not efficient. Okay, so just be aware. Look, if I highlight this one, it's 33,160. Come over here, it's just a number. It's not got any formatting. So if I'm doing kind of, financial calculations and stuff, I want to make sure I've got the right data type. So the whole kind of demo with this was to give you the data type kind of look, and to do some formatting, and to recommend you do most of the work in the PQE as best you can. Yeah, you can do it later on, but it's kind of an extra workload for the Power BI engine to do that later on. You want to kind of load it into the model kind of as best we can to start with. Okay, let's go and answer some questions here. Okay, so let's look at the first question here, and let's send that over. So can we pass the exam without work experience with Power BI? So you can. My recommendation is, if you're going to take something like the exam, the DA-100, okay, you need to get a bit of knowledge, base knowledge, fundamental knowledge about the product, how it works, kind of use the interface, use the Power BI desktop, load some reports into the service, etc. And things like the dashboard and the day event, the 4-day course is going to be awesome. And this series of 52 videos that we're doing in the DA-100 is going to be exactly what you're looking for to get you started. But you will need to get these kind of hands onto the product and start building some reports. So go look at the Power BI examples on the Power BI service. Let me go and quickly grab a couple of those and show you where those are. And I will put them in the links as well for you. So let me just go grab the PowerBI.com. And I'm going to go to the main website and go to the resources page, go to learn. And if you go into guided learning, you'll see there's a whole bunch of examples here. Now, what you can also do is go and find, there's a whole bunch of kind of samples out there that you can kind of go and find, download those samples, look at, for example, the, where's the one I'm looking for? So I want to find, if I can find it, they move stuff around. Oh, community, there it is. Okay. You want to go look at the galleries. Okay. So go look at the galleries, go grab some of the examples, download them, and look at how they're building their reports. Look at some examples of some reports. Look at how they've done that. Go and grab those files. Go and look at how they're doing the interface. Go and build some of your own reports. Grab some data. Play with it. You can't break this thing. It's just getting kind of like, and to be honest, if you get stuff that doesn't work, have a look at the error and see what it says, and come into the community, and you'll find lots of resources there about how to do things. There's also lots of user groups, community blogs around this. So ton of different use cases there. I would also say go and look at someone like the SQLBI.com and go and look at some of their free training as well. So they have some awesome kind of training that helps you do that. Now we do very similar stuff. And you know, if you want to kind of get started, there's some great kind of Power BI design videos, data modeling videos, introduction. There's some paid for courses. There's some lots of information there. Okay, so these are the kind of things, and grab a book or two. But you're going to need to get these dirty and build some. You don't necessarily need to have a work experience. You just need to have a working kind of knowledge of how Power BI works, how to bring data in, doing the prepared data, how to do the data modeling, which we cover in September, how to do the visualization, which we cover in October, and then kind of how to do the analysis and deploy and everything else, which we do in November. These are the things that you need to do. When you feel comfortable, and also you go to this website called pluralsight.com, and if you go to Role IQ, I'll put the link in the description below as well, and I'll put you specifically into the data and BI analyst self-service entry here, and in here we got the Microsoft Power BI for Analyst, and you can go and check your skills. You can do a kind of mini test. It's about 20 questions. It doesn't take you more than maybe 15 minutes to do, and it will tell you kind of where your strengths and weaknesses are. You can get some personalized content to help you kind of prepare. But no, you don't necessarily need to have a lot of working experience, but you need to have some experience of building some reports. If you try and just do it all from kind of videos and everything else, you're probably going to have a hard time doing the exam. Okay, the content of the Microsoft free training is, let's kind of bring that one over. So yeah, kind of think of it this way. The knowledge and the tutorials and the videos and everything else, the kind of different books, etc., are a way of explaining how to do things. But the best learning experience you're ever going to get is trying to do it yourself. Learning from your mistakes, learning from, oh, I tried to do that and I couldn't quite work out why. Then the penny drops at some point. Why? You kind of maybe have to do some investigation, try it a few different ways. It's the way I learn. It's the way most people learn. You're going to try things, and then eventually you find a way that works. And now you know how to do that step. And then you do the next one, and you find to learn how to do that step. And then you build a series of these steps up, and you get kind of a workable knowledge of how to do things. And over time, the more reports you build, the more kind of expertise you have in doing a certain task, the better you're going to come at it. I'm learning YouTubing. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm learning how to do YouTube. And hopefully I'm getting better. I'm making a ton of mistakes, a lot of them. But that's so fine. That's really fine, because I know I'm going to try and learn from them and not try and repeat that mistake again. I'll try. I probably will do it a few times. But this is how we are. So don't need working knowledge. You don't need lots of working experience to do that. But you do need to go out and try and kind of get a grasp, get some hands-on experience. Okay. Right. I think we're going to kind of call it there. So we will be doing more videos. I'll be creating a bunch of videos this week. As soon as they're kind of ready, and I think they're kind of ready for you guys to consume them, I'll get them out there. So be patient a little bit and we'll get them out there for you. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and kind of let us know that you are kind of wanting to see more content. If you have information where you want to see stuff, kind of also kind of just let me kind of just click on that. Just click. For some reason my button is my hotkey button's not working today, so I'm going to have to do it manually, which means I need to look over to the right. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like what you see, A little tweet would be great as well. We're kind of new. We're just over 500 subscribers. We've been around for about a month. We've got lots of content to share, and not just about Power BI. And if you have Power BI questions, you know where to come. We're here in August every day at 8:30, and then in September onwards, we'll be probably twice a week. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining, and we will speak to you and see you in the next video. Bye for now.